21-8 overall.
Well, we've got a perfect example here of great pursuit of the puck by number 19, Mikhail Varnikov. You know, the Soviets have shaved off the toe of their sticks, an awful lot of them. The key to good puck handling, folks, is to be able to keep the full blade of your hockey stick on the ice. Only then can you control the puck. It's very difficult to do when maneuvering like the pros. The key to most Canadians is the short stick. Just look at the toe of his stick. He puts himself on side here. Now, this is slow motion. He's really moving that stick. But watch the key all the time. Look, the full blade of the stick on the ice. Now, watch when he gets it up on the toe. It doesn't go under the toe. He makes a great move right here. Look, right on the toe of the stick. Hangs onto it. Look, there's white jerseys all around the place. Would you believe that? And the guy makes a pass to a guy in the slot. That is good puck handling, and I guess part of the reason is shave off the toe of the stick.
21-8 shots on goal, Howie, and the Soviets held the Germans to just 10 shots on goal through 3 periods the other night. Soviets overwhelming winners in that one. The final score was 8-1. In other action in the Canada Cup today, Sweden over Germany 4-2, and Canada came back and got back on the right foot with a 7-2 victory over the Czechs. Third period action underway. And for the Soviets, Hazatonov. Mullen. And now ahead for Trottier. Trottier taking the Soviet player up heavily along the board. And Zubkov felt that one. Here's Kazatonov for the Soviets across the American line. Backhands it in behind Barasso. Mullen. Headed to an open wing. No one there but Soviets. And across the American line once more. Barasso out to set it up. Plays it ahead on the right side boards. Mullen can't handle it. Now Trottier does. Trottier, backhand pass for Mark Johnson. Johnson couldn't get across the line, but dumped it in anyway. This is Perbukin for the Soviets. Loose in the center ice zone. Soviets there to claim it. Lariana outside with a big hit. Mike Ramsey has hurt Lariana.
Well, folks, I said a little earlier the value of good bodily contact and the value of Brian Trottier. You have him to start each period. And just watch this. This is Zubkov going into the boards, and he hears the pitter-patter of little feet, and oh, did that hurt, because he just went right off the ice. That is total punishment. And Mike Ramsey, when he made that bodily contact a little while ago, he got out of the way there, I think, a little bit. Now, here's the other one right here. Cut to the middle to come across. He didn't leave his feet that time. He lined him up and run into him. That's the difference. And I'll tell you, when you sit on the bench and see that type of punishment, legal punishment, going on the ice, that will pick up your team tremendously. On the other hand, the Soviets are thinking, holy ho, 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 fellas, maybe it's going to hurt to touch that puck now and again. And I would think those two Czechs, if the United States team can put things together here, will have a lot to do with it. That's great hockey when you check like that.
Lariana being attended to at the Soviet bench. Play back underway. Backhanded in by Semyonov for the Soviets. 2 Soviet players collide there. And Ramsey got out of the way just in time. Here come the Americans down the left side. Fed into the middle. Broughton couldn't get to it, as Semyonov was there for the Soviets. Out across their own blue line now. Led by Yashin, number 25. Dumped right back in by Aaron Broughton. And the Soviets regroup behind their own line. This is Yashin. Yashin to the American line. Can't get around Langway. Now right back to the point. Perbukin gets the shot. Barasso the save. And starting back, Tom Hirsch can't get away. Out across the line. And picked up by Perbukin. Dumped into the American zone by Semyonov. And it's Langway regrouping for Team USA. Ahead for Olchek. Olchek dumping it in. Carpenter races after it. In behind the Soviet goal. Kovin. And Carpenter kicks it back in across the Soviet line. Stelnov. Crashed into the boards. This is Carpenter for Team USA. And a costly mistake there as Varnikov starts back for the Soviets. Varnikov going in. Can't get a shot past the defense. That was Chelios standing up for the Americans. Igor Stelnov had a problem back behind his own goal. Now it's ahead on the right side for Sportsov. Center ice. Claimed by Givayev. Shot right on Barrasso. Didn't see it come down.
Very lucky there. It didn't hit his arm and fall in behind him.
Christian for Team USA. At the line. Brook can't take the pass. He takes the man. For Christian. And he was offside at the Soviet line. 6:49 to play in period 3. Just one goal separating the States and the USSR.
Some people make a lot of noise about truck deals. And some give you special effects. But Mitsubishi gives you real value. During the Mitsubishi Summer Special, limited time factory incentives can mean real savings for you on a rugged new Mitsubishi Mighty Max pickup. The only trick is getting there before they're all gone. See your participating Mitsubishi Motors dealer now.
Back behind the American line, that's Ramsey for Housley. And dumped back into the Soviet zone once more. Offside, or icing, I should say.
Well, I'll tell you, you're lucky to get Mike Ramsey, who was very, very lucky to get out of the way. You got to give the Soviets credit. They're not going to fold up their tent and sneak off into the night. Watch two of them coming at him here. You make our fellows pay the price. We're going after you. But he had his head up and he got out of the way. Ho, ho, ho. For the first time, the Americans are not only making the puck carrier pay the price, but the much departed puck carrier. After he's made the pass, they still have to finish the check on him. They haven't so far tonight, but that's really what counts, finishing the check on the guy that you get off the puck. If they keep doing that, this thing could liven up.
Phil Housley. Head on the right side. Cross a couple of lines. Joe Mullen tipped it in. Ramsey has been very effective for the United States so far this evening.
He certainly has, and I thought he played himself a heck of a hockey game in Buffalo the other night as well. He's playing in front of his hometown fans, and he not only played a punishing game or a tough game of hockey, he played a very skillful one. He was excellent with the puck.
Ramsey also getting credit for the only American goal, 6:24 of the second period, unassisted. 2-1, Soviets lead the Americans, 16:21 to play in the third period. Phil Housley. For Mike Ramsey. Ramsey for Mullen. He can't get anywhere in the center ice zone. Trottier up against Kuzevnikov. Still a loose puck in the neutral zone. Now the Soviets claim it. Givayev. Ahead for Vasiliev. Vasiliev going right in. Barrasso stands his ground. Tom Barrasso. And they're all around the young netminder from the Buffalo Sabres.
Well, Vasiliev made himself a heck of a play. He walked around the defender, took the puck from outside to inside. He tried to go high in the short side, and Barrasso, I think it hit him on the shoulder. But watch him cut here. He takes the puck to the outside, then brings it in after he beats the checker and try to get it upstairs. And Barrasso, very, very fortunate young man. He's 6'4". He gets down on his knees, and like Bill Dern and the old Montreal Canadiens, he protects about 2/3 of the net, even on his knees.
Mikhail Vasiliev is the injured Soviet player.
Well, he took a pretty good belt.
He had a knee injury the other night against the German team, but is back and playing tonight.
Look at this.
Oh, Trottier got him.
Isn't he a punishing hockey player?
Larionov, who was injured a few moments ago, is back on the ice for the Soviets. Face-off claimed by the Americans. Erickson dumping it in. After it, Erickson. And Aaron Broughton. Now Neil Broughton comes in. Holding it in for Team United States. Now back to the line. Hirsch can't control it. Finally has to take the Soviet player heavily into the boards. And the puck with it. Verbuchen started out. And we're going to have penalties here. 2-1. Soviets lead the United States.
Heavy duty price.
It's too expensive for me.
You got a deal. Thank you, Payne Weber.
Someday. Maybe next year.
I can hardly believe it.
Thank you, Payne Weber.
In this highly competitive financial world, Payne Weber believes the quality of life just might depend on the quality of your investments.
Thank you, Payne Weber.
Dual penalties, Krutov for roughing, Erickson for roughing, 4:29.
The penalties to Team USA number 24.
There you see it along the board.
That's a pretty good spear in the tummy. That's a no-no.
2 minutes each for roughing. The time.
So 4 skaters aside, Soviets back behind their own line. Pervukin, number 5. Ahead for Makarov, 24, Makarov. Circling. Pervukin has it now. And back for Makarov quickly. This is Langway for the United States. Back behind his own goal for Housley. Housley playing it back for Langway. Larionov, number 11, injured a few moments ago, back out there for the Soviets. And here comes Langway to his own line. Winds up the shot right on Mushkin, and he'll hang on. Americans all over the place, and Mushkin decided he'd hang on to that one.
There's Larionov, number 11. He got an injured knee, or at least we think it was an injured knee. The Soviet trainer just took down the shin pad, put on an ice pack, put the shin pad back, stock it over top, and he's out there the next shift. Quick cure. And number 3, Zubkov, who took that punishing check from Trottier right off the start of the period. He's back out there playing as well and dishing it out. They don't back up.
A minute 12 seconds left in the penalties, Howie. This is Starikov running into number 12. Mark Johnson, a pair of 12s colliding down there. Christian can't get to it for the United States behind the Soviet goal. And here come the Russians once more. Semyonov. Svetlov, number 16, losing it. And the United States, led by Christian. Christian winding up with a shot. Mushkin the save, the rebound. Almost right back on Christian's stick. He keeps it in for the United States and then has it poked away. After it, Semyonov, and a pass across in front for Svetlov. Could have been dangerous, but not quite. Here's Christian once more for the United States, stopping. Now for Chelios. Chelios has to circle at the line. 17 seconds left in the penalties. Ramsey up along the boards, intended that one for Housley. Soviets in the center ice area. Good pass for Skvortsov. Skvortsov still has it across the line. Back this time for Kazatonov. And broken up by the Americans. Here's a good opportunity. Brian Erickson can't get across the line. Erickson once more. This time to the line. Good play. Mullen can't get a shot. Trottier goes in after it. Trottier against Kazatonov. Now back behind the line to Trottier. Back to the point. Housley winds up. Big shot just wide. Pressure from the Americans. Erickson keeps it in. Trottier out in front. Oh! Housley had an opportunity. Couldn't get the shot away. Soviets start back. Varnikov, 19, still has it going in against Carpenter and tried to center it. Out across the line. And the Americans, opportunities here. This is Ramsey. Hand on the shot. Soviets clearing it to center ice. This is Skvortsov. Barrasso sets it up for Langway. He missed his man. It's all the way down the ice. Icing called against the United States. 2-1. The Soviets leading the Americans in period number 3.
Everyone gets in on the entertaining action of professional wrestling on Madison Square Garden Network. Enjoy the weekly 1-hour highlight shows, All-Star Wrestling and Championship Wrestling, featuring the biggest names in the game. Plus the sensational live 3-hour spectaculars from the Garden. MSG Network is the spot on your cable dial for wrestling action. You can count on it.
12 minutes, 15 seconds to play in the third period. Soviets out shooting the Americans 24-10, but they only lead by 1 goal at this stage. It's 2-1. That's Tom Hirsch behind the American goal. Waiting for Langway. Back for Hirsch. And back for Langway once more. Head on the left side for Carpenter. Now this is Hirsch. Hirsch to the Soviet line. Fires it in. Mushkin had to be sharp on that one. And fired high and over the boards, or over the goal by Olchuk. More pressure from the Americans. Olchuk claiming it along the boards. Turning around, working himself out in front. Right out in front, Muskin made the save from a very sharp angle. Had to steer it aside. Olchuk tried to jam it in on the short side. Bobby Carpenter was there. And another pileup of players. It's been whistled down, of course. Who had the best chance, Howie?
That's the most sustained pressure that any line has put on the Soviets so far. They've controlled the puck in behind the net and had 2 or 3 not real good chances, but anytime you throw them across in front of the net, there's all kinds of people in that area. It's liable to hit somebody and liable to go in, but I would think that Team USA, if they get a couple more shots like that, put a line together, that time it was Carpenter, Lawton, and Olchuk that created most of the damage, and another repeat performance, and never can tell. Again, I'm very, very much impressed with Mike Ramsey's play tonight. Rod Langway, what can you say about him? Trache has not been that great offensively, but has he been a super checker? And I think Christian's handled the puck as much as any Canadians and made a contribution on offense.
Neil Broughton at center ice for the United States. Can't get the draw that time. It's picked up from the faceoff by Stelnov. And ahead quickly for Larionov. Back for Krutov. Krutov, number 9. Takes a shot blocked by Gordy Roberts. Roberts controls. Gets it to the line. Not out. And this is Krutov once more. Krutov, sharp angle. Barrasso the save. Neil Broughton. Broughton into the neutral zone. Can't connect with number 24, Brian Erickson. Now Erickson comes up with it. Good play to keep it onside. Muskin the save. More pressure from the Americans now. Larionov to the line. Still has it. Larionov leaving it for Krutov. Krutov goes down. Soviets still control. Back for Zubkov. Zubkov working in. Takes the shot. Just wide. Carpenter takes a hit but clears it to the center ice zone. Picked up there by Neil Broughton. And it's offside. In the past 2 years, over 170,000 kids have been awarded Esso Medals of Achievement. These minor hockey awards are just one of the many community programs that Esso supports across Canada. Because to Esso, it's a good, healthy way for youngsters to grow up and develop. And tonight, Esso is also pleased to provide the Player of the Game Award. Halfway through the third period at Northlands Coliseum in Edmonton now. 10 minutes, 32 seconds to play. The Soviets in control of a 1-goal lead. The Americans looking much crisper here in the early going of the third period. Soviets in across the line. This is Yashin, number 25. Got it out front. Still loose out there and flipped high over the goal by Semyonov. Yashin backhands it into the corner and comes up with it. Kept in by Zubkov. Now Trache. Back to the United States. Ahead for Trache now. Here's Mullen going in. Joe Mullen. Oh, Muskin! Vladimir Muskin. Save of the night. Mullen was all alone. The Americans much better scoring opportunities here in the third period. They still try to get even. Soviets in across the line. Weak shot that time by Semyonov. Now the Americans once more. This is Mullen. Just missed on the breakaway opportunity. That time there were 4 Soviets all around. Kazatonov, number 7. Head on the right side for Barnikov. That play broken up. Now Christian back for Langway. Into the center ice zone. Soviets dumping it right back into the American territory. Langway wrestling out the check from behind. Point shot by Perbukin. It was weak. Soviets keep coming. This is Koven trying to get across the line. Taken out by Hurst. Now Lofton for the Americans. Dumping it in. After it, Olchek. And beaten to the puck that time by Perbukin. 2-1. Soviets leading the U.S.
A boys' club is a lot more than just a club.
It's a skill, it's a school, it's a hand, it's a pool, it's a trip, it's a court, it's a job and support. It's doctors, it's daring, connecting and caring, a place to learn, it's a place to meet, it's a place to
Support your local boys club. It's the club that beats the streets.
Just under 9 minutes remaining in the third period. Chelios keeps it in for the United States from the face-off. Backboard for the Soviets. Starikov. Back to Chelios. Chelios didn't shoot that time. Tried to feed a gentle pass in for Erickson right out in front. And Mushkin. Once more, two big saves by Mushkin in the third period. Soviets on the attack again. This time it's Vasily at 28. And Barrasso at the other end comes up with a save. Broughton has trouble. Now it's out across the line. The Soviets a little mix-up just inside the American line. Soviets regrouping back in their own zone. This is Starikov, number 12. He can't get across the line. So Givayev tries. Pass right to the line for Kaznikov. Right out in front. The Americans start back. Led by Housley. Housley to the Soviet line. Checked neatly off the puck that time by Givayev. This is Krutov. Krutov, perfect pass, far side. And that time, Makarov couldn't come in. Neatly taken out of the play by the American defense. Loose once more in the center ice zone. Soviets reclaim. Krutov to the American line, leaving it there for Makarov. Makarov shot right on. Barrasso the save. And Krutov was standing right on the doorstep.
Well, now this thing has really opened up. But at the other end, Mushkin. We said earlier at the top of the show, can he replace the great one? Trottier just makes a super pass here to Mullen. Look at right on his stick. Mullen's home free. Watch Mushkin stay right out there. See him backs up a little bit. Lets him make the play and gets that left leg in front of it. But that save, folks, was nothing to this one. Look at the pass out from behind the net. Right on Ericsson's stick. He one-times it, and look at the glove save. How about that? That is great goaltending. Twice in a row.
7 minutes, 18 seconds to play. Period 3. The Soviets on the attack again. Svetlov. And that play broken up by Langway. Now Lawton feeds it ahead on the left side for Christian. Christian can't get to it. Langway reclaimed for the United States back at his own line. Christian dumping it in for the United States. Mushkin out to set it up. And here come the Soviets once more. This time it's Semyonov. And offside called at the American line. A bit of a collision down there. Soviets continue to hang on to a one-goal lead.
You know, we haven't messed up an engine all day.
It was your idea to come here.
Yeah, big parking lot, lots of cars.
Has the whole world switched to new mobile super unleaded gasoline?
It's so powerful.
And it's got higher octane.
What do they have against knocking and pinging? Fellas, let's forget mobile improved their super unleaded.
Why?
It's beneath us.
The Soviets have now outshot the Americans 27-14, but what's more important, only a one-goal difference on the scoreboard. 2-1, the Soviets leading the Americans. Winner tonight takes over first place in the Canada Cup standing. Icing called against Team USA, 6:33 to play.
Well, whatever Bob Johnson said to his Chargers between the second and third period certainly, I think, has influenced the way they played here. I would imagine, John, that they wanted to really get out there and play good offensive hockey and take that Soviet team at every opportunity, but the Soviets just had too much foot too early, and in fact, the Soviets were the one that was dealing out as much bodily contact as the Americans. And now they've sort of caught up to them, and they've had a couple of good scoring chances. If Joey Mullen could put the puck in the ocean off the Galdarn Wharf, the Americans would have a lead. He's had 3 excellent scoring chances, and they blew them off.
Gordy Roberts for the United States, starting out from behind his own goal. This is Neil Broughton. Broughton, number 8, to the Soviet line and in. Broughton leaving it there for Chelios. Chelios dumps it into the corner. Broughton is after it, so is Erickson. Pinching in from the other side is Roberts. Gets it out in front. No one there for the Americans. Broughton struggling along the boards. Cleared out. And Chelios has to race back forward against Colvin, number 31 for the Soviets. Here come the Americans, center ice. This is Erickson across the line. And the Soviet defense standing up extremely well. No real opportunity for the Americans there. Soviets into the center right zone, or will it go all the way down? Waved off. Trache dumping it off the board. Soviets back in control. That's Zubkov. Head on the right side. And that pass on the left side failed to work. Housley was the reason for that for Team United States. Here's Kozevnikov going in the pass perfectly for Vasiliev. Great defensive play by Mike Ramsey. Ramsey sprawling.
He's done everything tonight, hasn't he?
Scored the goal. Made some hits. Mushkin falls on a loose puck in the Soviet zone with 5 minutes, 11 seconds to play. Americans not out of this one yet, are they, Howie?
No, they're certainly not. This has been just a tremendous third period, and as I said, it's been excellent goaltending, but that Mushkin just made 3 or 4 very good saves, and then it went right down the other end, and Brasso was, I think, forced to make his 2 toughest stops, and he made them very, very well. My golly, you know, they're tremendously skilled hockey players, aren't they?
So quick.
Yeah.
And so hard to knock off balance, too. They, in spite of some of the hitting tonight, the Soviets have come out of taking a little bit of punishment to the body, but they're still standing after a big hit. Langway keeping it in for the United States. Christian out in front. And Mushkin made the save. I don't know if he really realized that he'd made the save on Lawton.
Well, he was very, very lucky there. Normally, he hangs onto that short side, and the stick should be on the ice. Now, there's the pass out. He backs up. It goes in behind the net. Watch, it'll be thrown out here. That pass should never get out there, but it got by his stick and got caught in his feet and made another pretty good stop. A little bit of luck attached to it, but I think earlier when I said they're tremendously skilled hockey players, the Reds as well as the Whites. Really,
no question.
American Hockey Club have played very, very well tonight. They've had some outstanding performances from about 5 different guys. The one that's really surprised me, I said when he learns to play defense, young Housley, he has played very well without the puck tonight. Here's danger.
Krutov over on the right side for Makarov. He's ridden out by Langway. Out in front, Langway is there for the United States. Langway starts the charge ahead for Lawton. Lawton dumps it in. And going after it, Olchek on one side. Christian on the other. Comes out of a maze of players. Back for Langway. Langway can't keep it in. And that could have been dangerous with Langway going down. But the Soviets had no players in the open ice. Mushkin guides to the side. Soviets taking their time, coming out of their own zone with 4 minutes, 21 seconds to play. Pressure on the Americans now to get the equalizer. U.S. outshot 27-16 by the Soviets at this stage of the third period. Loose in the open ice area, picked up by Semyonov. Semyonov dumping it into the American zone, and it's cleared around and up and over the glass. So we'll whistle it down there. 4:03 to play in the third period, and the Soviets still in control of a 1-goal lead.
Everyone loves a hard-hitting football game, and this fall you'll see the best the college ranks have to offer as Big Ten football comes to Madison Square Garden Network. Big Ten teams dominate the top 20 polls, and 1984 should be no exception. Powerhouses like Michigan, Michigan State, Ohio State, and defending champion Illinois will engage in months of fierce competition to determine which school will be Rose Bowl bound. Follow Big Ten football right here on Madison Square Garden Network.
Face off in the American zone. And Neil Broughton comes up with it. Put it all the way down. Racing after it for the Soviets. Stelnov. Right out in front for Starikov. He starts to move the Soviets offensively. Some confusion. Neutral zone. Dumped right back in by the Americans. Going after it. Carpenter. And it's called for too many lines.
I think if we got time here, we just got a great play. Just watch Makarov one-on-one on Langway. Watch this. He'll put it between his legs. Look at here. Between his legs. Now pick it up and put it back the other way. Look at this. Had he not run out of brink and had Langway not just taken the man for a second, put his eye down on that puck, you could bet your bottom dollar Makarov has a heck of a try on goal. But aren't they cute with that stick? Inside, outside, inside. They give you every opportunity to goof. If you do, you're in trouble.
Actually, the Langway played it pretty well against a very starry hockey player because he stayed with a man.
He sure did. He didn't look at the puck.
Mike Ramsey. 3 minutes, 30 seconds to play. Final period in Edmonton. Trottier. Ahead for Mullen. And Mushkin is up to Sprawl on that one. Mushkin not taking any chances. He has sprawled on a couple, but we won't fault him for that because he's made some outstanding saves, particularly on Mullen on the breakaway.
Well, this game could quite easily be 2-2, even 3-2 USA. He's made 3 outstanding saves in this period alone, and I think he's had maybe on the night 5, real good, tough chances. Mullen had him beat on one and couldn't put it in, but other than that, it's been sharply attacked.
It's Trottier against Kovan for the Soviet Union. Back to the point. Langway has it, fires it in. Blocked by the defense. That was Zubkov, number 3. Soviets out across the line, and the play broken up quickly by Mark Johnson. Into the Soviet zone once more. Johnson goes into the corner after it. Mullen can't keep it in, but it hit a Soviet and stayed across that side of the line regardless. And a penalty to Ryan Trottier coming up. He doesn't quite understand why.
Well, I would think he's got away with a couple of borderline checks so far this evening. A lot of NHL games and playoffs, they would have been penalties. Let's take a look at this. I was writing some notes. That's a little bit of charging from behind. There's no doubt in the world. No one should have the audacity to question that. The guy standing against the fence, fine. You might get away with that, or if he's half turned towards you, you might get away with it, but it's back on 3 feet from the fence, and Trottier tries to make him part of the fence. 2 minutes.
So that puts the Americans up against a bit of a wall with just 3 minutes to play in this hockey game and trailing by a goal.
We've spoken quite a bit about number 9, Krutov, tonight, but he is just like Gretzky. That puck comes to him. When he's on the ice, he has it 2/3 of the time.
In the American zone, Chelios battling for it. Back to the point. Played off the board. Zubkov keeps it in for Krutov. He lets it go by for Makarov. Soviets getting set to make this power play work. Krutov against Chelios. Now Roberts comes in to help out. Roberts comes up with the puck for the Americans. He's paying for it along the boards.
That was to happen in an alley in any big city in Canada or the United States. That'd be mugging, wouldn't it?
I don't think so. Roberts, the referee tonight.
Both sides are accepting the fact that that's what's going to happen, and again, the officials are letting it go, and this period has been very, very entertaining. A lot of things on the borderline. You can tell an awful lot of them have maybe spoiled the hockey game, and I think Wicks has done an excellent job.
1:24 left in Trottier's penalty, 2:24 left in the third period. Face-off will be in the American zone. Christian at center ice for Team USA.
It's going to be interesting to see what Tikhonov, the coach, says about this has been a rough hockey game. His reaction to it tomorrow.
Soviets take the drive. Zubkov. Now, Larionov. Back for Zubkov. Kasatonov, the Soviets controlling very well right out in front. And what a glorious opportunity missed by Larionov. He just fired it wide. 1:05 left in the penalty to Trottier. The Americans clear it down the ice.
2 minutes to play in the hockey game.
This is Carpenter. For Langway. Over his stick. Mike Ramsey is there. 50 seconds left in the penalty to Trottier. 1:47 now left in the hockey game. This is Kasatonov, number 7 for the Soviets, to the line and across. Over for Krutov. Back in for Larionov in the play. Broken up neatly that time by Brian Erickson. 30 seconds left in the penalty. Kasatonov ahead for Yashin, number 25. Now back for Pervukinen. And the Soviets get it back into the American zone once more. Yashin, 25, can't control it. Along the boards, that's Mark Johnson for the United States. 5 seconds left in Trottier's penalty. Chelios. Trottier back on the ice. This is Chelios down the right side. Less than a minute to play, third period. Mark Johnson. Good pass. Here's Johnson going right in. Johnson can't get the shot away. Or did Mushkin save it? Lots of of traffic out in front there. 46 seconds to play. The Soviets have a 1-goal lead. Threatening once more here as Svetlov controls in the American zone. Now, Team USA starting back. This is Mullen. Has Trottier on the open side. 33 seconds to play. Trottier can't get to it. And the Soviets. Semyonov. Long pass from Semyonov to Varnikov. And it'll come back with 26 seconds on the clock.
Mark Johnson didn't make a great play to get 15 feet in front of Mushkin, but I'm sure he made the save. The puck hit him in the pad, dropped at his feet, and he got his stick on it and put it in the corner. But it was an excellent scoring opportunities by the Americans.
And it's Team USA gathered around Coach Bob Johnson for the instruction on how to play the final 26 minutes. Or 26 seconds, I should say.
They've done pretty well the final 26 minutes.
Yeah, there'd still be a pretty good chance.
Yeah. You take away that early opening goal. A lot of people say it was an accident. It wasn't a planned play, and it never happened again. I'm not so sure about that, but certainly it did go in at very early in the contest. And since then, the Soviets have dominated, and I would think puck control and shots on net. But if you analyze the game when it's all over, as Bob Johnson will do, I'm sure, in the long run, the Americans had, particularly in this period here, and I think throughout the whole game, the better scoring chances. Watching the Soviet team, you're like sitting on a time bomb, and you don't know when the darn thing's going to go off, and yet the Americans have played extremely well. They've stopped that time bomb from exploding.
2-1 right now. 26 seconds to play. Tom Barrasso heads back to the goal of the American goal.
I'm surprised they haven't got him out of there. You know, they may as well take a crack at it. What's the difference? 2-1, 3-1.
The face-off is outside the Soviet line, but I guess Bob Johnson figures once he gets it in, Barrasso will come out. Trottier can't get the draw. Now it's cleared back into the American zone with 18 seconds to play. Team USA rather slow in making that play develop, but they will get a face-off, what they were looking for, in the Soviet zone. And Tom Barrasso skates over to the American bench. So it'll come down to the final 15 seconds.
Trottier comes to the right face-off zone down here. He wants it there so he can draw to the middle, but Wick says no, gall darn way. It's over on the left-hand side. So I wouldn't be a bit surprised someone else goes in there to take the face-off, or if the Soviets put someone in there who's drawing to the goaltender, drawing to his backhand, maybe Trottier will go with him and just slap it at the net.
Shots on goal favoring the Soviets 27-17, but on the scoreboard it's much closer than that. Into the final few seconds, the Americans down by a goal. Next game for the Soviets is against Canada on Monday, and for the United States, they'll line up against Germany also on Monday. The Soviets have called a timeout now to regroup. Big win for Canada today, 7-2 over Czechoslovakia. And that puts Canada, at least until this game ends, into a second-place tie with the United States with 5 points. The Soviets have 6 points and lead the tournament right now. Canada Cup 84 scoreboard earlier today. As we mentioned, 7-2 Canada over Czechoslovakia, and Sweden over Germany 4-2. That was the first second victory for Team Sweden. The Germans have yet to win a game in this tournament. Their last crack will be against the United States, and that on Monday. Team Canada got it together, Howie, a little bit better today. The offensive power finally came through against Czechoslovakia. 7 goals.
Well, they have all that tremendous offensive skill, and I wouldn't worry about offensive at all. If I was in charge of the hockey club, and I'm sure Coach Glenn Sather isn't worried about it. It's bound to happen. It's bound to explode. It's how they play behind their blue line that's going to win or lose for them. And so far, they've had pretty good goaltending, and if everybody comes back behind the blue line, does their job there, the other end will look after itself.
So the crucial face-off will be to the right of Vladimir Mushkin. Trache does win the draw. Back for Langway. Langway clears it in front, just wide. And Chelios moving in. Chelios shot. And the Soviets regain control in their own zone and dump it out. 4 seconds on the clock, and that will be the old ball game. Langway, one futile shot all the way down the ice. And the Soviets hang on to a 2-1 lead over the United States. An entertaining hockey game. The Americans came back in the third period and played a much more effective hockey game. Again, the final score, the Soviets 2, the United States 1. We'll have more in just a moment.